off to an incredibly strong start. The kidney was producing urine, during the transplant, which is always a great sign. So as soon as the kidney was reperfused with Mr. Slayman's blood, it was instantly producing urine. The urine output since the transplant's been really good. And if you really could equate it to a human kidney transplant, it looks very similar, right? So the experiences that Mr. Slayman is having are very similar to if he had gotten a human kidney.
Meanwhile, this morning, dismal approval numbers appear to have the Biden campaign pretty nervous, as they reportedly have hired some brand new pollsters to help out the campaign. New polls also show the president lagging behind Donald Trump in at least 6 key swing states. Former White House press secretary for Donald Trump and outnumbered co-host Kayleigh McEnany joins us live. Good morning to you, Kayleigh.
Good morning.
Okay, so when you look at the polls, they're terrible for Joe for the most part, although we've seen some things where things could be stabilizing for him. But now they've got some new people on board. What's that about?
Yeah, it's a smart play on his part. It's about shoring up the base. You see, and you made this point earlier, some of the pollsters are those who court progressives. Some are those who court black voters. He knows he needs to shore up the base. He's underwater in that poll you mentioned by 23 points with black voters compared to 2020, by 15 points with Latino voters, and 11 points with young voters. So these pollsters need to shore up the base, and that's what they're geared to do. But number two, they're the ones who came up with the MAGA Republican messaging, differentiating, let's say, the Haley voter from the MAGA voter. So that's what they're shoring up, is the base, but also trying to bring in new voters.
Because it sounds like what they've done is they've looked at all the pollsters and people who were involved in campaigns during 2022 when the Democrats did really well in the midterms. And it's kind of like, okay, we're going to hire those people because what they did beat Republicans, and that ultimately is what they want to do.
Yes, but ultimately, these pollsters need to tell them, you got to fix immigration, because Donald Trump is more trusted on immigration by 20 points.
100%. Also, a Fox News poll came out a couple of days ago, and extraordinarily, the most popular major candidate right now, although he's for a third party, the We the People Party, is RFK Jr. Has an approval rating, rather a favorability rating of 47, followed by 2 points by the former president, and then Joe Biden is 6 points behind him.
Yes, and I would say, because I've looked at a lot of this swing state polling with RFK in particular, it's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes he hurts Trump, sometimes he hurts Biden, but I would say for the most part he hurts Biden. But there's one line in the Wall Street Journal poll I'd be looking at, which is half of Republicans view RFK favorably, only a quarter of Democrats. This is why it is so smart for former President Trump to define him for what he is. RFK is a Democrat. You heard former President Trump say, look, he picked a Democrat. This guy, for all intents and purposes, is a Democrat. And next week, when Trump says he'll announce his abortion stance, he would be wise to contrast him. I'm the pro-life candidate. He is not. If you're a Republican, you need to be with me.
So that's suggesting that Donald Trump thinks that RFK would take voters from him.
Yes, he said MAGA welcomes him, so he was very clear on that. Yes.
All right, very good. What did you make of this headline from MSNBC? Trump's preoccupation with, they said this: Donald Trump is desperate to participate in presidential debates. Joe Biden would be justified in turning him down.
I laughed very hard when I saw this. So now presidential debates, which most of the American people want to see, are a preoccupation or desperation on the part of Trump. No, he wants a debate because that's what people get, a debate. He knows he'll win a debate. And our Fox polling shows 64% of voters said it's extremely or very important to see a debate, and 72% said it's a sign of weakness if someone doesn't debate. So it's a preoccupation, desperation. This is the liberal media trying to give Joe an out. I don't think voters will give it to him.
Exit question: will they debate?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I hope so.
It would be great to watch. All right. And watch Outnumbered, originating in this studio, coming up in 3 hours and 27 minutes. Kayleigh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
An eclipse is one of the most breathtaking wonders we can see in the sky.
And nothing tops a total solar eclipse. But what makes a total solar eclipse so special? An eclipse occurs when one astronomical object moves into the shadow of another object. There are two main types of eclipses you can experience here on Earth. A total eclipse of the heart. What? A lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth is between the sun and the moon. That causes the Earth to cast a shadow on the moon. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the sun and the Earth. It causes the moon to cast a shadow on the Earth. But a total solar eclipse is an even more impressive wonder. During this kind of solar eclipse, the shadow of the moon will plunge a narrow strip of land here on Earth into darkness in the middle of the day. This is called the path of totality. And because the path of totality is so narrow, millions of people will not be able to witness this phenomenon. Another total solar eclipse in the same area might not happen for many years. So if you happen to be one of the lucky ones in proximity to a total solar eclipse and you want to witness it, here's how to do it safely. Use protective eyewear specifically designed for solar eclipse viewing to prevent eye damage. And watch for traffic too. The eclipse could cause some serious congestion on the roads in those places with the best view.
Oh no!
Okay.
You're just looking fantastic.
I feel like I'm in Devo.
How can we watch the eclipse safely? Well, first off, I have my
I can
friend.
just do it like this, right?
Yes, that will work very well. You can do that here. You have to go all the way like that,
I
right?
have my glasses on.
There you go. I have a gift for you.
Oh.
Here you go.
Are these legit? Or I heard there were like phony ones going around.
These are legit, my friend. I'm going to put them on for you, and I can literally see nothing that's going on. I'm literally blind, so I'm going to take them off. But the way that you know that these are legit is if you zoom in, you will see the ISO approval. Oh, you're looking fantastic.
You
Look at
really can't see anything.
You can't see anything.
The eclipse, the sun is blocked out, so how would you be able to see
well,
it?
you're seeing it remember, when it's totally blocked out, you won't be able to see it. But as it's sort of falling into the blockout, right when you get that partial blockage, you don't want to be looking directly into the sun. Do not do that.
Can you take them off when it's the full blockage?
Yes, you can. You can. But that will only be for a short period of time. You got to be very careful because otherwise you'll get those ultraviolet rays that could hurt your retina.
We got some breaking news right now. A judge has denied a motion from Donald Trump to throw out his Georgia election interference case based on the First Amendment. Trump had argued that the indictment violated his First Amendment right to challenge the 2020 election results, that what he did was just free speech. But Judge Scott McAfee disagreed. He said that the indictment goes well beyond just political statements. And in his order denying the motion, McAfee says, quote, political speech addressing matters of public concern is not impenetrable from prosecution if it's allegedly used to further criminal activity. And that's the issue in the case. The jury will decide. Trump and 18 others pleaded not guilty to all charges in this sweeping racketeering indictment back in August. We're going to continue to follow this story, bring you the new details as it develops.
So, Chicago health officials confirming a, quote, small number of tuberculosis cases in migrant shelters across the city. But they're not saying how many. This comes after 56 known measles cases are reported in the Windy City. Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez has warned about this issue for months, and he joins us now. So, Raymond, you warned them that this was going to happen, but they didn't listen to you. Are they listening now?
You know, Lawrence, good morning. I don't know how much our Department of Public Health or other officials are listening to the alarms that we've been raising since August of last year, and even in September when we had receipts from our ambulances showing that we had individuals testing positive for tuberculosis. This is a crisis we could have avoided, just like with the measles, if we had simply instituted the American standard of vaccines upon all of those migrants being shipped to the city of Chicago. Many of these individuals come with children, they are in our schools, and all of those vaccination requirements that our kids are responsible for are waived for the migrant asylum seeker children. And that is putting people, families, and communities at risk.
You know, Raymond, I've been so perplexed because, you know, I've been out there reporting, talking with the folks. They're upset. I know your district, and the people there are minorities. They're also, you got immigrants there as well. But it seems like the mayor has tried to paint those that are critical of this sanctuary city policy and not having a response to the people there as anti-immigrant.
Without question, we have seen where efforts by this administration to put migrants on a toxic dump site were labeled as racist when people like myself and community opposed it, saying it wasn't healthy for them or for the neighborhood to have all of that dust kicked up. Even when I brought this issue about tuberculosis, measles, and mumps to the forefront, I've been told that I'm anti-immigrant and xenophobic, even though I'm the great-grandson of immigrants. So they could gaslight all they want, but at a certain point, the truth is going to come out, and we're seeing it come out slowly and steadily now, as we saw with the measles and as we're seeing now with tuberculosis.
Real quickly, because I only got 15 seconds, Raymond, do you think people in Chicago, because of this issue, because I haven't seen people at these city council meetings like this in a long time, do you think they're going to start voting differently just based on this issue alone?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Americans are fed up with seeing themselves being leapfrogged over by those coming to this country just to get service and support. And I think that at some point, this is going to drive a wedge, particularly for the Democratic Party, my party, with our core base of African American and Latino voters who feel as though we have not invested in them the way we're investing in these migrant asylum seekers.
Such a valid point. A man of the people, Raymond Lopez. If you ever want to know what's going on in Chicago, go visit Raymond. Raymond, thanks so much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.